Hey everyone, I'm Marvin, and I'm going to walk you through my GSoC project, which is enhancing OpenAPI documentation generation. The objectives of this project were to replace the existing reflection based tool that was used earlier but has been producing incorrect documentation, but with a better tool. Also, by migrating the logic to build time and upgrading the documentation to OpenAPI 3.0 were some of the strict requirements for this project. This resulted in some really out of the box thinking. So I built the first ever build-time OpenAPI generator for OpenMRS REST APIs. The problem was that OpenMRS had unreliable and manually maintained API documentation that didn't match actual responses. My solution automatically generates accurate OpenAPI 3.0 specifications directly from code during Maven builds. The breakthrough was integrating a JUnit test with full OpenMRS context inside a Maven plugin using forked JVM execution. This lets me analyze REST resources at build time with complete access to OpenMRS objects, something that was impossible before. The plugin works universally across any OpenMRS module with zero configuration. Just run Maven and get perfect API documentation that's always synchronized with your code. It supports all kinds of OpenMRS representation types: ref, default, full and custom automatically. So let me show you with a demo. Let me show you all the components of my project and run a small demo. So this is the Maven plugin that runs a forked JVM that runs a JUnit test inside it to avoid any class path issues with any other modules. And this is the JUnit test I'm talking about, and this uses the OpenMRS test context to invoke all the required methods right at build time. And this is a one-of-a-kind schema introspector that I built that scans all the superclasses of a particular resource handler and gets all the properties you can call at for the custom representation. So let me show you how easy it is to set up in any of the particular modules. So let me go, this is the OpenMRS web services module. So if we go into any of the OMods, and for this example I have taken OMod 2.4. If you go inside the POM file, you can see that I have applied my plugin like this. This is the format of it, and inside the scan packages I would write all the package names that I want to include in my OpenAPI spec. So let me show you how to run this for the first time. So you would clone the REST representation directory from the GitHub repository, and then what you would do is you would mvn clean install without any test, because you just want to run and install the Maven plugin inside your repository. So if you can see, I'd say that this is completely zero configuration. Like, you only need the names of the packages you actually want to implement. So for example, if I show you the queues module, and if you can see, the build has been a success. But in the middle, if I also show you the queues module, this is the queues module. So even here, so the way I implement it here is, if you, here it is. So if I can show you, the package name is queue specific. So this would only include the resources which are present inside the queues module. So this can run with any module, and you can even try with your own custom modules. So let me show you by demonstrating by running it on this 2.4. So as this runs at build time, it specifically runs in the process classes phase. So let me show you by mvn clean process classes. So if you can see, cleaning removes the previous OpenAPI spec. So if you can see, there's no target now, and this is brand new. Let me show you the different things while it is loading. So the various components inside this is, there's obviously the test, and what else do we have? We have this old spec file that I use for validation. So also this recorded a 92.5% validation over 46 endpoints, which is a really good feat according to me. So let's wait for this to happen. And if you can see, this writes all the particular packages that are involved in this. And this is just a fault of the old OMod that we are using. This doesn't pop up inside the new ones. But this is just a warning. If you can see, we have, so if you can see, this test is successful, and voila, we have our OpenAPI spec here. So what do we have here? We have all the paths, we have the names, we have the examples for any newcomer to know that how exactly to use the custom files and how can we use basic or nested. So if you can see, for this example we have a module action endpoint, and if you can see, this has different one-off endpoints for different values of v. So imagine if my representation is default, then it would go to module action default. If it is full, then it would go to full, and so on. So let me show you with something familiar. Let me go to the patient endpoint. Yep, here it is. So exactly the same as the others. So if you can see here, we have patient default, patient full. So let me just go to patient default, and if you can see, here we have all the properties that should be included in this patient default. So if you can see, we have an array which is a sub-resource of patient identifier. What this does is, this is a sub-resource class that we particularly document in this way. And we have a person class, we have a display property, we have voided, and we have UUID. So in this way we have everything, and yeah, it just works. And I'll just show you by running this inside the Swagger editor. So let's just go here, let me just copy paste the spec that we just generated, and here we go. We have no semantic errors, and we have all of these schemas and all of these endpoints. So if I open any of these endpoints, I can see that yeah, we need a UUID, we need a v parameter of course for the representation. And if we go inside the schemas, we would see that we have the full representation, and we have something as code, and we have all the types inside. So all of these are string, this is boolean. So if you can see, we have no errors absolutely in this, and this is for the REST module, so we can run it for anything. And yeah, this is like a 15,000 line code, and we have done no changes inside it. But currently this is only generates for the get endpoints, because the logic that it took to run this only runs for get endpoints currently. So yeah, that's about it. It is as easy as cloning the Maven plugin and then installing it and then applying it in any of the modules that have REST resources in it, and voila, it just runs by. And you can also include this in the plugin, and if you run it by mvn clean package, it will run with it, and it will generate all the OpenAPI files, and we can use it at various places. So that's about it. I'm really happy with this project, and let's talk about the future works. So about the future works, there are a couple of things we can do to improve this project on another level. So some of the things are extend the plugin to generate schema for endpoints other than get, so like post, delete, yeah, and implement support for search handlers for better documentation, and gather better type inference strategies to incorporate into the schema introspector. So what it currently does is, in its multi-tiered approach, if it fails everywhere, it resorts back to string. So if we can find better approaches to improve it, then that would be great. And we can clean up all the hard-coded logic present for specific instances like concept full inside the project that you can read up inside my demo. And yeah, that's about it about the project. I'd like to thank everyone from OpenMRS for being the best people I could have worked with, and I had a lot of fun working for this project, and I hope it benefits everyone in the community. Thank you so much.